Hello, hello, hello. Hey friends, Svava Brooks here. If you're watching this replay, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm a trauma recovery coach and I love to hang out here most weeks, Tuesdays and Thursdays, YouTube, Periscope with my fellow survivor thrivers as we support one another on the healing journey after trauma or abuse. If you'd like to learn more about the trauma coaching support that I offer, please visit my website, svavabrooks.com. Here today, if you're here live with me right now, please say hello. Please let me know that you're here so I can welcome you. Glad that you're here. And also what I was about to say, the topic today, we're going to talk about some of the challenges on our healing journey and sometimes our struggle with resistance. Right? How is it something that we want so badly, we end up fighting, resisting, all that body stuff that comes up when we decide, maybe this is something that I need to change inside of me. And so to support our conversation, we are using my guide, Releasing Your Authentic Self, a workbook that I have written for survivors, because making that transition from victim to survivor to thriver takes daily intention, daily practice. And the most important part, once we know how, is that we need a community of support. And that's what we are doing here today. So hello, friends. Welcome. We are going to start just with a check-in. Say hello, see how everybody is doing. So feel free to chime in, jump in, any questions that you may have about recovery. And if I don't know the answer, I'll turn it to the community, but we are so glad that you are here with us. And I just realized I didn't put my headset in, so hope that won't impact anything. I'm sure it won't, but hey friend. Janet, hey Janet, where are you from? Glad you're here. Hey Rob, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Good to see you. Lady Leo is here. Elizabeth is here. And to my Periscope friends, I've got my YouTube friends here as well. So Janet is in LA. Hey Janet, I'm in Portland, Oregon, but we have Spain in the house. We have UK here. We have Georgia. Lady Leo, are you back in Georgia? How are you guys? Yes, we start with a check-in and we start with what's new and good. What's new and good? I say, yes, come as you are. Not asking you to pretend. We're going to honor what you're feeling, what's going on right here, right now. But we're also part of our healing journey being intentional about remembering some of the good. Be grateful for the things that are working in our lives. So, hey Sue, another UK friend. Welcome. And I was just saying to my Periscope friends, if you'd like to find us on YouTube, the link to my YouTube channel is in my Periscope profile. So Janet says, I organized my whole house. It was so difficult. However, I am glad I did it. I'm impressed. Organize your whole house. Good for you. I'm sure it feels good. I'm sure it feels great. That's awesome. I celebrate you. Sorry, guys, I'm still getting comfortable here. Hey, Rachel. How are you guys? Checking in, checking in. And I don't know if you can hear Penny, but he thinks it's dinner time. He's already asking for food. No, it's not dinner time yet. You gotta wait. At least an hour, okay? At least he's not as loud as Kevin. I put Kevin away already because Kevin, you would definitely be hearing him. Nice. Elizabeth is painting a room. Tired, but it's getting amazing. Nice. Good for you. It's been a while since I painted a room. It's been a while. Let's see. 2009, 2010. I painted my son's room. But it feels good. Sure, it looks great. So speaking of painting, I told you guys on Facebook, I signed up for an art class. This is what I was painting last night. I'm challenging myself. I created a mandala. I was supposed to, in this 4-week art class, online art class that we're doing, we were supposed to write our intentions on this piece of paper, and then we got to create our own mandalas. So this is my work in progress. I like it. I was up late last night doing it. So out of my comfort zone. Thank you, Rachel. There you go, Elizabeth. A lot of fun designing and actually do the painting. Awesome. Rachel says, I just finished dinner and I'm ready for a nap. Awesome. Awesome. Yes, my friends, I'm getting some great ideas for our next retreat, or if I end up just doing an online retreat. So, but I shouldn't put things out there yet because that just, you know, it's always dangerous when I come up with ideas. I create a whole new, you know, work for myself, but I'm having fun. I am having fun. And that yesterday, it hit 100 in Portland yesterday. So it's hot, hot, hot here in Portland, Oregon. So I was just scrolling back here. Yep, travel, not looking promising. Yes, Sue, I just called off my trip to Iceland in the fall. Not too happy about it, but hey, no, I can't beat myself up about it. I cannot control this, so I gotta work with what I got here. Lady Leo says she's back home. Okay, look like you had a lot of fun, Lady Leo. Look like you had a lot of fun. I hear you, Sue. Thank you. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay. So did we check in with everybody? Sounds relaxing. Elizabeth, yes. That's what I have found. I've been doodling, painting, doodling, and it is like meditating, I'm finding. So that's going to be my new addition to my self-care, is to doodle with paint or colors. So I'm pretty sure this will not be the last of what you're hearing of me and my new exploration into doing some more art. Yes, Rachel, yeah, because I had a trip and a ticket bought to Iceland in the spring. I was meant to go in April, May, I think it was. And I canceled that. And so I have a credit for another trip, and I was going to use that for the fall, but it doesn't look promising. So I don't think they're even letting people from America travel to Iceland right now. But since I have Icelandic passport, I could apply to go, and I probably would get it, but too much hassle, too risky. But I was telling my my friends in Iceland, we're just gonna have to move all our plans. EJ, I'm missing travel the most. I hear you. I hear you. Hey, friend, Periscope friend, what trauma again? We are talking about any type of trauma over here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Unfortunately, most people have experienced some form of trauma or hurt. So I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. I am going to set up our topic here in just a second. So we were just starting with our hellos. Elizabeth says, seems like Boris Johnson made it compulsory to stay in quarantine if you go from Spain to UK. There you go. That's right, Sue. Any specific issues of mine? Ask my Periscope friend, and I cannot see your name. Periscope font is too small. Yes, I'm a survivor of trauma and abuse, and I am happy to hold safe space for our communities when we talk about healing. It gives all of us hope when we can share our stories, be together, to know we're not alone, and most importantly, share how we are healing, because we can. Yes, we can. So exactly, Elizabeth and Sue, that would be it, because if I was going to be traveling to Iceland, I probably would have to, right, isolate, self-quarantine somewhere for 2 weeks. I do have a friend who has a farm. I could go sleep with the sheep or the cows or somewhere out in the countryside for a couple of weeks, but that would defeat the purpose. So of going to see friends and family. So anyways, so the topic of today, farm may be peaceful, you got it. I know, I'm not opposed to spending time at a farm. Not opposed to that at all. So the topic of today, we are on day 210, right? We are slowly, this blurry year we're going through on day 210. So today we are talking about resistance. Most of the time we have no control over what's happening around us, right? That's reality. I think we are acutely aware of that reality right now. But what we can control is our response to what's happening around us and our response to change. To do that in a healthy way, begin by being aware of what you're resisting. Next, be willing to consider some options. Some options. That's what it takes to acknowledge and shift the toxic skill. It was a toxic skill, perhaps way back when. It was a skill, but it became toxic. And now we're learning we need to dismantle, pull apart these coping strategies that we took on to survive our childhoods. So the two questions that I asked in our community, and please, I would love to hear from you, your thoughts on this. What healing change have you been resisting lately? What healing change have you been resisting lately? And the second question, what are your options in this situation? What are some other options? And this is the perfect opportunity if you've been struggling, if there's something that you have been working on, recognizing you've gained some awareness. It's like, okay, here's something that I kind of need to change. Like there's this a reoccurring theme, this reoccurring challenge, this reoccurring issue in my life. I think I need some change here. Once you become aware of it, which is the first step, brilliant. We need that. Sometimes it's like, oof, I had no idea. I didn't know that I didn't know. But once we know, then we need to get informed. How how do I change this? How do I change this? And the best way to do that is to find other people who are going through the process of changing that, or already have, or maybe just a few steps ahead of you, who totally get it and are able to support you, validate, hey friend, hold you accountable, and also, right, make it okay, because there's always this, right, one step forward, sometimes two steps back. We do that back and forth dance a few times. That's part of it. That's part of it. Why does anyone resist healing? Good question. Very good question. So hang in there, because in our community, we had a handful of them sharing their thoughts on this and what they've been resisting. So hang tight. Hang tight. Bear with me, guys. I'm navigating a couple of windows here. Oh my, I still deal with those dang toxic skills. Don't we all, says Sue. I hear you, Rachel. You're not alone. You're not alone. The topic is, why do we resist change? Why do we resist change even when we recognize that there's something we need changing, right? Maybe after your trauma, you are learning about yourself, you're learning about your nervous system, you're learning about, our thoughts, some of the thoughts and some feelings that maybe haven't been, right? We have some unhelpful or unhealthy thoughts or feelings that keep us stuck in the past. Penny, he's complaining. He wants food. Pride, says someone. That's a very good point. Sometimes we don't want to change because we are proud. Maybe there's a part of us that wants to be right. Part of us wants to be right. And maybe a little bit of pride. I want to say maybe it's the ego. The ego, the story that we have come up with about who we are, and the stories we made up about ourselves. And again, some of those stories we came up with to protect ourselves. And the ego and the part of us that wants to be right is looking for certainty. They don't want change so much. They don't want change. They're more interested in keeping the story than they are in you getting to know your authentic self. So, hey, Sue, welcome. What would be your preference for change? What might be changed? Great question. Great question. We are all work in progress, my friends, all work in progress. All work in progress. Hang in there, okay? So we will share. We had some great sharing in our community today. So EJ, I don't see permission from you, my friend, to share your thoughts on this. So please just let me know if you would like me to share your comment. Lady Leo gave me permission to share. And again, we are answering these two questions. What healing change have you been resisting lately? And what are your options in this situation? Excuse me. Lady Leo says, and to my Periscope friends, I have permission from the tribe here to share their comments from our closed Facebook group. And if you'd like to learn more, please send me a private message or visit my website, svavabrooks.com, where you can learn more about the work that we're doing in our community. Back to Lady Leo. She says, the healing change that brings on the biggest resistance for me is starting an intimate relationship. I think the letters got switched here. My ability to trust that I'm capable and worthy of a loving relationship, I guess, is still hard for me to believe. The thought that someone is capable of loving me unconditionally in all my imperfections and insecurities is a foreign concept. From my heart to yours, Lady Leo, I hear you, my friend. So, can you guys relate? Anybody here relate to Lady Leo? Can we give her a heart or a thumbs up? It's hard for me to even imagine me trusting another person with my heart, she says. She goes on to say, as far as my options, I am willing to learn to trust my judgment now, to believe that I'll reach a point in my life where I trust me enough that I'm capable and deserving to be happy in love. Beautiful, Lady Leo. Beautiful, my friend. And I know how hard you are working on this. I do know, right? It's hard to overcome those old thoughts and beliefs that come from our wounded self, our hurt inner child, that no way, right? From that part of us, there's no way nobody's ever going to love me. If they only knew how bad I am, right? That if they saw the truth, they will for sure abandon or reject me. So I know, sweet, sweet Lady Leo, you are not alone. And I'm just reading your second part here. I'm willing to learn to trust my judgment now, to believe that I'll reach a point in my life where I trust me enough that I'm capable and deserving to be happy and love. And that's it, right? We accept. And that isn't a negative comment. I'm just checking here on Periscope. We are acknowledging the truth and understanding where it comes from. It's important to validate, to put it out there, to recognize what is it that's holding us back? What is it that keeps showing up for me? To recognize where it comes from. And then we can take responsibility for it as an adult today. Absolutely right. Lady Leo, right? You were just a victim. It wasn't your fault. And it's our job today as adults, right? To become the parent or the protector of our inner child, our wounded self, and to work on that trust, right? Willing to learn to trust. That's right, Lady Leo. And as you continue to work on it, that's loving care in action. Yes, Lady Leo, you are seeing it from everybody here. We can relate, I can relate, I can relate. Yes, it is scary, but important to recognize there's a reason why this is a reoccurring theme, right? It comes from that wounded part who needs some assurance and validation. And then we can intervene when they throw tantrums and maybe get in the way of our adult relationships because there's an unmet need there to be comforted, to be seen, to be heard, to be accepted. It's our job to accept them. Sue says, I know the feeling of wanting to love and know myself loved, yet I still find it hard to be open to trust love. I get it. I get it. And that's where those daily self-compassion practices come in. That's you loving in action. That's love in action. You are showing up, being consistent in your love for yourself, knowing, right? Being here, showing up for myself, taking care of myself, recognizing my needs, validating my needs, asking for support when I need it. That's part of it. Thank you, friend. So, how do we open up to trust love? When we've learned to open up to our own love. The reason why we don't trust this love is because we don't even, okay, I don't say that, take that lightly, but we have even shut out our own love. Because love isn't perfect. It's our inner child that is expecting unconditional love. It's our inner child that expects perfect love. There is no such thing as perfect. It's part of being human is showing up, doing the best we can, communicating. And part of, I can still remember, and I've shared with you guys, reconnecting with my inner child. It wasn't fun or pretty. It wasn't perfect. And there were days where she was upset with me. You keep saying you're going to do this, but you don't do it. And then I had to come to her and apologize and tell her I was sorry. I'm doing the best I can. This is hard, but I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can. And the fact that I'm coming and acknowledging the truth instead of avoiding her because she makes me feel uncomfortable, but just like I'm showing up for her, letting her voice her hurt, that's love. And it's like, hey, baby girl, again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I keep doing better. I keep trying to do better. Elizabeth says, I think I need to go back to therapy after all these support streams. Some wounds have risen. I hear you, Elizabeth. I hear you, my friend. Glad to hear you're going to go get some support. Absolutely. It's a good thing when we bring these things up to our awareness, then we can do something about them. We can do something about it. So thank you, Lady Leo, for sharing. As you can see, you are not alone. So Donna, thank you. Donna says, okay to share. She says, I've seen the signs of personal healing over the past several years. Now I've more general knowledge about trauma, self-knowledge about my own specific trauma, somatic tools that I regularly employ and are more relational, at least online connections. However, I believe my greatest resistance is staying open to change. In my book, change is very scary, bad word. Even as a small child, I preferred my ripped, outgrown shoes than getting new ones. I noticed that openly and covertly, I avoided acknowledging aloud and to myself the positive self-growth. Though misery is not where one wants to be, it's a safe place. Hey friend, isolating and dissociation don't require much of me. I've developed a network of friends that understand me in the mystery. Can I actually show up and participate in the other world? Will I be accepted? Will I be hurt? My mind is overwhelmed with what ifs, right? The what ifs. The body heals the physical wounds. Trusting that change can also be connected to goodness, or that I can navigate the many changes life throws our way, is something I am still working at. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. So, can we share and validate Donna? Thank you, Donna. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, friend. I really appreciate you sharing that, right? Who here signs up for change? Most of us don't, right? It's exactly, Lady Leo say, I understand, Donna, right? It's like we say here sometimes, right? It's the devil I know, right? It's the coping strategy I know, the things that I'm familiar with. I recognize that. Makes so much sense. Change is risky and demanding. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Exactly. And it takes a lot of energy. You just said it, Sue, right? Because what do we know about our bodies? What do we know about our nervous system? What do we know about our mind and body connection? Right? Our bodies are always optimizing, conserving energy, right? And always optimizing to be as efficient and work as fast as they can. And everything they do is always in service of your survival. Always, always, always. So once we recognize that part of us that's resisting the change is maybe also right coming from our nervous system. Like the alarm goes off. What do you mean? You're rocking the boat. We know how to do this. Don't change. It's going to be too hard. It's going to take too much energy, too much effort. We know how to do this. Don't try to bring the thinking brain online. It takes too much. So that's where it's helpful for us. Slow things down. Slow things down. Come back into the bodies. Come back into our bodies. Do the best we can to recognize how our body, how our nervous system is resistant change, how it brings about change in our state, right? Because when we're here, it's hard to change when we're fighting for our lives. So change becomes easier when we have supported this body in recognizing, right, we are coming from the bottom up and we're also working from the top down. You're welcome, Elizabeth. We need to meet in the middle. And EJ says, are we actually able to really turn the thinking brain off? Here it is, EJ. The brain researchers tell us when our fight, flight, freeze, depending on where on the fight, flight, obviously, but when you tip into, okay, dorsal vagal part of our nervous system where we literally go into collapse and shut down, we have lost 90% of our access to our prefrontal cortex, to our thinking part of our brain. So we are operating on 10%. So a lot of the things that we know about trauma, right? We are here. We're not thinking about, wonder how I'm going to respond to this. What would be the right? It's immediate. It's a nervous system response. And that's exactly it. When we can understand what we're doing, come back into ventral vagal, that's right. Come back into social engagement. That's when our full capacity, all our brains, our emotional brain, the prefrontal cortex, our thinking brain, comes back online. A lot. And that's why, right, coming back into our bodies is so important. So to help to self-regulate, help to calm down our nervous system. And then again, for so many of us who don't have that baseline, there isn't a before trauma. There isn't before the trauma. We are actually recreating that baseline, what safety is. We have to go at a snail's pace, and it takes time. Exactly. When we understand, and that's where, right, I spent a lot of time telling you guys, like, there's nothing wrong with you. Your nervous system is just doing what it's meant to do. So instead of beating ourselves up or shaming ourselves, we are adding fuel to the fire. It's like, okay, there's a reason why I've checked out. Of course. So how can I slowly work to stay with my body? And sometimes we need a co-regulator. We need another safe person to hold this body safe and right here. Hey friend, welcome. Just so you know, I'm interacting with YouTube as well, so bear with me, but I'm glad you're here. So thank you, Donna, for sharing that. I really appreciate it. So Sue S shared with us. Didn't I see Sue P up here as well? Did I miss you, Sue P, today? Just making sure. Please let me know. I don't want to miss anyone. Sue S said here. She says, I suppose one healing change that I've been resisting lately is accepting myself for all my imperfections. I am such a perfectionist, and it affects my self-esteem when I fail at something. I set excessively high goals for myself that most likely deep down I know are unachievable. But I find I demand the impossible and then beat myself up when it blows up in my face. Hey friend, give me a minute and I will respond. Hold on. She says, I give others chance after chance and accept when they do their best. But when it comes to doing the same with myself, I fail miserably. Why do I expect more of myself than anyone else? I am no better or worse than anyone around me, so there is no need to hold myself to a higher standard, but I do. One of my options when this happens is that I need to be patient with myself, right? Patient with myself and allow myself the same compassion I show others. Patience is a virtue I wasn't born with, but with practice, I know I will get better at this. Instead of getting frustrated and beating myself up, I need to take a deep breath and get out of my negative thinking. I should say positive affirmations to myself and work through the situation without reacting first and contemplating later. If only foresight were 20/20 like hindsight. A little compassion goes a long way, and I deserve the same treatment that I give others. My options are to be positive, not negative, and decisions made with clarity will result in more successful achievements. Hey, Sue S., my friend. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. And I know you're not alone, right, friends? Can you, right? Can you validate? Do you recognize? Have you found yourself in this? Can you see yourself in being hard on yourself and giving other people maybe the benefit of the doubt, or being compassionate but not being compassionate with yourself? So, right, as you can see here, I'm placing my hand on my heart, right? The first step, right, Sue S., I see you doing it, is to recognize this is me being hard on myself. Being part of being human, we are going to make mistakes, we are going to fail, and we're going to do a lot of those things even way into adulthood. And especially we do them way into adulthood if we didn't, we weren't parented or given the nurturing, the safety, the support, and the love and the acceptance that we needed as children. So we could have, developed and gone through the stages of development where you make mistakes, right? It's part of growing up. So a lot of us are having to do this as grown-ups. And I'd say, actually, if you go and look out into the world right now, there's a lot of people struggling with this. Because what happens when our minds and our bodies feel overwhelmed? There is a breakdown. There's a breakdown in communication. And when our nervous systems are activated and we are overwhelmed and feel like we are failing, we are the worst to ourselves. The worst to ourselves. So, and it isn't about, it's okay to recognize the hard, that the negative needs to be said. We need a safe place to vent, to get it out. We've bottled it, repressed it, held it in for so long. So find a safe place to spill it. Find a safe place to get it out. Those crazy negative thoughts, get them out. There's a reason why they're there. And part of so important, like that inner child earlier, right? And when we are struggling with change, is to acknowledge. And there's a difference between talking about it and wallowing in it. There's a difference between processing your hard feelings or being in the blame. There's a difference. And only by doing it will you recognize the difference. And finding a safe person to hold you accountable. Some of this I'm doing with my adult children now. When I hear them step into the blame instead of taking responsibility for themselves. It's not fun or pretty. And right, I'm not their coach, I'm their mom. So I'll sit and listen. Do you want some feedback? Is this helpful? Is this empowering? So, I hear you, Sue. I hear you, Sue. So all the negative feeling, get it out, right? It's so important because you had every right to be upset. You have every right to be angry and furious. And a lot of those unexpressed hard feelings, we turn them on ourselves if we don't get to express them because we feel guilty and bad for having them. So it's a delicate balance, but we need to do it. It's an important part of the healing work. So let's see, I'm coming back here, scrolling through your comments on YouTube. Let's see here, and let's see, I also have some comments popping up here on Periscope. I'm sorry, friends, it's not letting me go through all of the comments. Hey from Saudi Arabia, hey friend, what advice do you have for handling someone you love who is dealing with struggling with healing from, who is struggling with leaving a romantic relationship? Be a good listener. That's always the best advice. Be a good listener, right? We can't fix other people. We can't make it better for other people. But sometimes I believe most of us know what we need. We know what our hearts need and want, but there's just so much gunk in the way, right? So once we can get it out with a safe person, because when we feel heard, we actually feel supported. We feel loved. We feel understood. And when we feel all that, actually our nervous system calms down. To be seen and heard and validated by another human helps our bodies to relax, and our thinking brain comes back online. We are past just the, right, our oldest part of our brain, where we get past our emotional brain. We're back into, I actually know what I need. I actually know what I want. So, yes, parenting skills seem like hard work. Yes. Yes. And that's never too late to reparent. It's never too late to reparent. So, but thank you again, Sue, for your beautiful share. Thank you, Lady Leo. Sue, that's a real battle, she says, for me as well. I have no patience with myself. So, right, that helps us. When we aren't patient with ourselves, chances are, right, there is a younger version of you in there that really needs someone to be patient. Needs someone to turn to her, come down to her eye level. Like, I see you, sweet woman. I see you, baby girl. I'm sorry, this is hard. I understand. I get it. But I'm here for you. I hear you. I see you. You give so much to other people. I'm here to support you now. So just this morning was talking to someone about inner child work, like making our inner child our primary, most important relationship is super important, super helpful, especially in the beginning, because otherwise that little part of you is going to continue to get in the way and to tell you, oh, you shouldn't trust these adults, right? Right? They're the ones who keep bringing up the past. In the past, adults were not safe. Okay, baby girl, I'm here now. I'm the parent. I'm the protector. I'm the one having this adult relationship. You don't need to. So loving and firm with our adult self and with our inner child. So, hey, Sharon. Thank you for being here. You're on a hormonal roller coaster ride. Oh my goodness, my friend. Hang in there. Yes, we are with you. We are with you. We are with you. Rachel says, I like the idea of staying in connection with the inner child. I still forget her sometimes. Yes. It's important because when we stay connected to her, you can feel, you can sense her presence in your body. And she's usually the one that brings up the old hurt. She's like, someone hear me. Someone see me. No, we're not changing. I'm still hurting. So I'm making light of it. That it's like, okay, girl. Okay. I got it. I see you. I feel you. All right. What do you need? Right? It's a little bit of role play. Okay. Got it. Right? Without being disrespectful or putting her down. It's like, and how does she know we love her, right? We take care of this body because this is her home. We pay attention to this body. She lives in here. She knows. Or they. Let's see here. Rob says today, he says, sorry, Rob. He says, I've been neglecting, I don't see a share, but I'm going to assume it's okay, Rob, because you usually say so. So forgive me otherwise. He says, I've been neglecting my socializing and giving into anxiety. Not just making friends, but going on a solo holiday was too much. So I go fishing instead, where I'm going to meet no one. The options are vast, I presume, but I'd appreciate ideas on the origin of this recent dip and want to make friends that match the standard of a person I want to be. I hear you. I hear you, my friend. I hear you. So what comes up for you, Rob? What comes up for you now that you've heard me share our community, our tribes sharing their experiences? What comes up for you? Right? And to maybe, thank you, Rob. I know you're usually okay with me sharing your comments. Right? The part of us that retreats is usually our hurt self, our wounded part. It can be a wounded adult, young adult, or younger version, or our child. So it helps a lot, right, to help ourselves in finding a safe ear to express the hurt always, because when we minimize or avoid, it festers, right? So I was really glad to hear you sharing in the group what looked like recently transpired for you. And instead of feeling like we failed somehow, it wasn't your fault, right? What happened wasn't your fault. And you're still establishing, practicing, learning those boundaries. I hear you. I hear you. Yes, and it's our younger self who, right, brings up the doubt. See, why bother? Nobody cares. We can't do this. So again, if you can, maybe write about it too. Write about it. Sometimes getting it out of our minds and out of our hearts down on a piece of paper, we can create a little space, separate from it. And then recognize that that experience was about that person. You did the best you can, and you're going to keep and continue to show up your best self doing the things that you enjoy, being your authentic self and see who shows up. And sometimes it's like almost like a yo-yo. Sometimes we feel like these past comes to visit one too many times, right? We've talked about the healing journey. It isn't linear. It isn't one step after another. And sometimes, right, my friends, as we are making a breakthrough, we regress before we make that final shift. Like something comes up for revisiting for the last time before we completely make that shift. That's very common in parenting when you're raising children. They've mastered a stage of development or mastered a skill, and then all of a sudden you see this regression. Like all of a sudden they went from, being able to feed themselves or clothe themselves, and all of a sudden they can't, even though they are able to. I'm taking kind of an extreme example, but the same thing goes for our healing, right? So, no politics, my friends. So you are doing a beautiful job, Rob. And the most important part too is not to be hard on yourself. I mean, that's been the theme through here today. To be kind towards yourself. The more we give ourselves kindness and compassion and continue to show up for ourselves through our self-care, right? Through our own kindness, the more we show ourselves respect, the easier it gets to set boundaries with others. And less the stuff from other people sticks, because you know who you are. I hear you, Rachel. I hear you. I hear you, Rachel. Yep. Be you, my friend. Show up as you and see who wants to hang out. Elizabeth says, yes, regression as a healing experience. Yep. Yes. You're very welcome, Rob. Very, very welcome. It's an opportunity for kindness towards you, right? It's an opportunity to be kind towards yourself, right? Because ultimately, no matter what other people think or say, you know who you are. You know what you want. You love and care and respect yourself. Make my heart sing, my friend. So I think I got everybody. Please let me know if I missed anybody. I think I got everybody sharing here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Every time you share, my friends, when you share so courageously, you are inspiring and empowering another person. So helping them with clarity and risking being vulnerable is huge. It's huge. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for showing up the way you guys do and love and support each other. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, my friend. And that's okay. That's okay. Sue P, that's okay. We're so glad you're here. So I pulled another perfect card for us. One day, he or she woke up and discovered she'd grown wings. So, who grew wings last night? Anyone? I got mine. I just sometimes tuck them back there because they just take up too much space. But perhaps this was your reminder. You already have wings, my friends. And with that, I want to remind you, you already have everything that you need to heal and restore. Yes, you do. This body brilliantly supports you, right? We are just learning. We're learning this new operating system. This computer has been working fine. We just didn't know how to work it. And now we're finally learning. And I mean, there's still things that happen in our mind that we don't know why they happen. It's crazy. We can send a man to the moon and beyond, but yet we still don't know how this works. But the good news is we're getting there. All right, sweet friends. Thank you so much. I will see you back here. Yes, Rob found my wings, he says. I'll see you guys back here on Thursday. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, take good care of yourselves. From my heart to yours, so much love. So is Rob wishing us a good weekend already? No. Oh, Rob, yeah. No, Rob, it's only Tuesday. All right, sweet friends. Have a good weekend. I'm joking. Have a good week. I'll see you same time, same place. I'll see you Thursday. Bye, friends.